A while ago, I made a video about how I don't like group hug decks, and a lot of people in the comment talked about their group hug deck that tries to curry favor with other players and make deals and ultimately had win cons. And to that I say, those aren't group hug decks, those are politics decks. And politics decks are awesome. While a group hug deck might play cards like Minds Aglow or Rites of Flourishing to help everybody out, a politics deck is a little bit more selective about where it gives out resources. They can help your opponent out, but not usually for free. You often make deals or agreements for your benefit. For example, Kenrith and Shadrix are great politics commanders. Both have abilities that can help you or your opponent. With Shadrix, you could give a player a 2/1 if they agree to attack a different opponent with it. Or with Kenrith, you could offer haste to a player if they attack a different opponent. Making deals like this can actually be really powerful. It basically gives you virtual card advantage, because your Kenrith is not only giving haste to stuff, it's also kind of dealing damage. And tokens you make with Shadrix, if they're just attacking your opponents, it's basically as if you have them. Politics decks, I think, are really superior to group hug decks. You get a lot of the same elements and some similar cards, but it's a real deck with a win con as opposed to just doing nothing. But you need to be ready to talk. Politics decks are not for the faint of heart. When you play a card like Wrong Turn, you need to say stuff like, hey Spike, if I give you this commander, will you agree to only attack other players with it? This way you can get the maximum value from your Wrong Turn. But I do understand that for some players, talking a lot, making deals is pretty daunting and isn't for everybody. Just totally fair. Another great part about politics decks is that Wizards of the Coast often supports these themes. Wizards likes to put politics, political cards in their precons and commander-focused products. For example, with the Lord of the Rings commander cards, they added a bunch of new voting commanders. And voting is a great politics theme. Voting creates discussion and makes interesting decisions for players to make. And with some of these, saying, hey, can you vote for this, can you vote for that, can make a huge difference in the game. Just be warned though, voting is a fun theme, but it does tend to make the game go long, especially with the new hidden voting stuff. It can just take a lot of time to resolve those effects, so keep that in mind when you play it. Alright, I'm going to list off some of my favorite politics cards that you should try out. Guided Passage, Teamer for a sorcery, reveal your whole library, and then an opponent gives you a land, creature, and non-land, non-creature from the deck. So it always draws 3, and if you make deals, it's basically also a tutor. I've used this to guarantee a board wipe, plus I got 2 other cards from it. When you make deals, Guided Passage can sometimes be a demonic tutor plus divination, and that's really powerful for 3 mana. It isn't Teamer though, so there's not that many decks that can actually play it. Order of Succession is another sweet card. Everyone in a certain direction will steal a creature. If you make the right deals, this can often score you a big creature and also turn a different big creature onto an opponent. The Hunted Cycle are creatures that give your opponents enough tokens to block the creature. But if you can make a deal with that player to have those tokens attack someone else, then you just have a really powerful creature for not a lot of mana. I really like the Hunted cards. I've always thought about making a 5-color deck that had all of these and you just blinked them and then goaded the tokens or made deals to have the tokens attack other players. Seems like a lot of fun. I haven't built the deck yet, but the idea is there. Speaking of goading, that's a pretty sweet politics mechanic. Goading creatures is really fun already, and it's a great way to force your opponents to attack each other. And you can make deals like saying, hey, I won't goad your creature if you don't attack me. Some players might take that deal. They don't want their utility creature to swing in and get destroyed. Last card I want to talk about is Mystic Barrier, a pretty strong card actually. 4 generic and 1 white for an enchantment. On your upkeep, you pick left or right, and then each player may only attack the opponent seated nearest to them in that direction, which can make it really hard for players to attack you because only one player, either the one on your left or right, is going to be able to attack you. With this, you can broker some awesome deals. You can often convince a player to attack all out at someone else because they don't need to hold up blockers for that player since they can't attack them back. Mystic Barrier leads to a lot of interesting deals and is actually just a pretty powerful pillar fort card by itself. Look, I think politics decks are just superior group hug decks. You get to help out players who are behind and have a big impact on the game with some voting haymakers or just making deals and shifting the course of the whole game. But unlike Group Hug, you're still a player in the game. You're still looking to win, and your deck is still a force to be reckoned with and has win cons of its own. If you play Group Hug, I'd honestly recommend trying out Politics. A lot of Group Hug cards can kind of go into a Politics deck. You really just gotta jam a few win cons in there. The last piece of advice about Politics decks is you really have to stick to your deals and force your opponents to stick to theirs. If they break a deal, that's it. You just can't trust them anymore, no more deals for them. Hopefully your playgroup has generally trustworthy people who will keep their deals in the spirit of playing the game. But with randoms, sometimes deals get broken. It happens. It's just something to watch out for if you're playing a Politics deck. So what do you think of Politics decks overall? Do you feel like they occupy a similar space to Group Hug? Have I convinced anyone out there to try a Politics deck? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so very much for watching. Subscribe for more.